getting close to the end. Hey, this is Carrie with Canary Quilts. Yep, that was me behind the mask if you didn't know. We are on, oh my gosh, week 21. Week 21 of our Moda Midnight Moon Quilt Along. We are past doing all the small block frames, and we are now on to doing the medium block frames. And these are all the same. So you're gonna have 24 of these to put together. These are just 4 of the ones that I've done. And I just love how they turned out. I love how they're floating inside of that cream color. It looks great. And I am so excited because we are so close to the end of this. Not just because it's the end, but because we get to put the quilt together. I'm going to show you how much fabric I have left because I only have enough of this background left to do my remaining blocks. So my background's going to be the same for the medium and the large. And then there is a border on this quilt, and I'm debating on whether I should do a border or not. I'm not sure. And if I do a border, it would be like a scrappy border made out of all of these Halloween fabrics. So I'm going to show you my cuts. I'm going to show you how I put it together. I chain piece it, and how it gets ironed. But that's about all there is to these blocks. They're pretty simple. I found it just so much fun to revisit these blocks too. Every block is different, and you pull it out and you're like, oh, I remember that block. Oh, that's my favorite block, or whatever. It just was so much fun to look at all these blocks again. So it's a lot of fun to put together. We only have 1 more week to finish out the large blocks. And so, yeah, I'm getting excited. Are you getting excited? But since there's not much to these blocks, I wanted to introduce you to something I did last year. I want to hold up this quilt it's one of the first quilts me and my mom did. I think she needed someone to quilt with her. She knew I sewed, and so she brought me some Halloween stuff to do, and this was one of the first ones we did. We literally went to Joann's and picked out contrasting back quarters is what we did. So this is a pattern that was in a magazine in the early 2000s. If I can find it, I will link it down below where that pattern is if you can buy it. But it inspired me because just like with this Halloween Moda Midnight Moon Quilt Along we're doing, it's all different blocks, and that appeals to me. I get bored doing the same block, but you know, even like these, there's different colors, so that helps. But it really did inspire me to want to do different Halloween themed blocks. So last year I started this, and I started with Frankenstein. I drew him up, and he was a lot of fun to do. And then I did Dracula over here, and you can see how the different colors of batiks just really make this stand out. And there's different color of threads also. Like I used a variegated thread on this guy. So that really makes the block stand out also. I've started doing a cat. I have not appliqued the cat yet. I was working on the different size of mouth and nose. And I've also started drawing a ghost, a bat, a candelabra, a spider, and a couple of well-known horror faces that I've done here. So I'm doing those, and oh, and I did an owl. I've already tried an owl, and I tried a different type of applique with that one. So it was just kind of a weird zigzag I found on my machine. Kind of looks like feathers. I don't know that I'll use these colors. This was just a test. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to be putting all of these patterns up on my website, and for you to use if you want to put together a quilt like this. But I was really inspired. I really liked the two-tone look, the mirror image look, but I didn't want to do all pumpkins, so I went out and drew these myself, and I have printed out the patterns, and I want to put this quilt together because we're putting up our Limax Spooky Village, and I want this quilt to hang behind it. So I gotta get done. I gotta get this done. and I want to share with you. So check out the link below. You can sign up to get the password for the free resource library on my website, and you can start, and I will also let you know when I put all these blocks out. So I just wanted to introduce you to that because I'm going to be doing it over the next few weeks. But anyway, let's get back to these blocks here. That's what we're here for in this video. I just wanted to remind you of the patterns I put out last year and the ones I'm going to be putting out. And let's get started with these. So if you're new here, I do have links down below. This is a pattern you can still get. It's Summer Moon by Carrie Nelson. The fabrics you can get, it's not too late to start this. It's a lot of fun. You can follow my videos to do it. The pattern tells you exactly what to do. You can still do this for next year or this year if you're really fast. So hit the subscribe button, notification bell down below. You'll get notified when I finish this quilt, when I put up the one behind me, and when I do all the other fun stuff that we're doing. So check out the channel. I mean, I have a good variety of things here. So yeah, let's get started. Oh my gosh, can you believe we are just like 3 weeks away from finishing this Moda Midnight Moon quilt along? And we're only 2 weeks from finishing all the blocks. We're done with all the small blocks. We are now going to the medium blocks, and all the medium blocks are going to be finished exactly the same way. And it's going to be with these 4 pieces right here. These 2 pieces will be put on first, and then these 2 pieces will be put on second. And then that's all we have to do with this block. So we got 24 of them. You got 24 each of the A, B, C, and D pieces. Now, I only have 1 background fabric left, so I only am using 1 background fabric for my medium and large pieces. You may have different fabrics left, so you'll have to decide how to break up how many of the background fabrics you want for each piece. But anyway, I'm getting down to where I only have a little bit of my background fabric left. I'm pretty sure I have enough to finish my large pieces, because my large pieces will have 24, but they will be much thinner than these, so I should have enough. If not, I do have a little bit of this left. And again, if I have to, I might like start cutting into this or my white candy corn. But anyway, that's where I'm at. Where are you at? How's your fabric looking? Have you got enough of the background fabric left, or are you getting close like me? Now the other thing I wanted to show you, since we've got this, before I start sewing these, I want to show you something else. Number one, these bags are great. I have a ton of these, and they keep my projects together, and they come in all kinds of sizes. So I have a link to these down below if you're interested, but I love these bags. This is the fabric that is left from this quilt. So I'm telling you what, when you get these projects, and I got mine from Fat Quarter Shop, you get plenty of fabric. So I have several projects here, or I don't know what I'm going to do with this fabric. I'll have to let you know. But this is another background fabric I might have to cut into if I need to. I don't think I will. But I don't know. If you bought this kit, you probably have this much fabric left also. I mean, there's enough fabric here. If you made a mistake, you'd still have this much fabric left. So I just wanted to show you. There is just an absolute ton of fabric. These are just scraps that I've thrown in here just in case I needed them, but I probably won't. But anyway, just wanted to show you that too before I got started sewing. I am just getting so excited. So I'm going to walk through maybe one or two of these blocks. It's going to be pretty simple. They're all going to be exactly the same. And once you get one done, you'll be able to do all of them. So there you go. There's my fabric. Here's my cuts and my blocks. I got my pattern and I am set to go. So I'm going to get my sewing machine set up and start sewing. Okay, I'm over at my machine. I've already started. I have set up, I've got my pile of blocks over here, and I've got my C's ready to go. They go on the left-hand side of your block. So if you do have direction on your block, you want to keep track of what's your left-hand side. I'm going to chain piece all my C's on first. So I am just taking my C piece, lining it up, and depending on which side is shorter, that side's going to be on the top as I send it through, so it kind of pushes it to make it the same length. There's not much of a difference, just a little bit, but anyway, so this side's going in first, or on top, and I'm just going to start gently sewing it all together. So at this point, I'll grab my next block, my next C piece, put it on what would be the left-hand side, line it up, and we'll send it through the machine. And this one is the same size, so I'm just going to send it through this way. Okay, I have finished sewing the C piece onto the left-hand side of all of my medium blocks. And I'm not going to iron till I get the D piece on. I'll have the whole piece on my ironing board at that time, and I can iron both sides. And we're going to be ironing towards the C and D pieces, or your cream background pieces. So I am going to, when I get done with this, I'm going to grab my D pieces, and I am going to chain piece these also. I'm going to put them on the other side, opposite end. It's the only way it'll fit, but opposite end of the C. And again, that fits great, so I'm just going to send it through with the D piece on top. Some of these seams are pretty thick right here, so my machine is like complaining at me wanting to get through those, and I do have a new needle in, but they're pretty thick, so just be mindful of that. You might have to help them get through. So this piece, my block is a little bit smaller, so I'm going to send my block through the machine with that one on top, and it should push it to match the D piece. Or at least be close. Okay, I've got both C and D on the opposite sides. So all we need to do now is get them ironed, and we're going to iron towards the C and D pieces, which is the background pieces. Let's set our seams. Iron towards those strips. Weird stitch there, I gotta check out. Does that happen to you too? Some reason just a section doesn't seem to want to be very tight or something. Whoops, I don't. That's a good one. That's a good one. But anyway, let's get all 24 of these ironed, and then we can add the A and B pieces on. Okay, now that we have our C's and D's on our block and ironed towards the C and D pieces, I'm going to put my block down, and C is going to be on the left hand side and D is going to be on the right, and C is a little bit wider, that's how you can tell. I'm going to take my A and it's going to go along the bottom, and then we're just going to sew that on, and depending on which piece is longer, I'm going to put the shorter piece through so it's on top, and that way it kind of will push it to make it as long as the other piece, if you understand what that meant. Okay, I've got A on all my pieces, and I'm going to iron it after I get my B put on. So it's very obvious where B is going to go. It's on the opposite side of A, so I'm going to just chain piece these on also. And we will be done after we iron. We got to iron towards our strips, our background pieces. are. All we have to do now is iron our strips. Iron our strips out towards the A and B strips. So let's set our seams and let's get these ironed. Got them all sewn on and ironed, and they look great. I think the most fun about doing this was revisiting all these blocks again and just going, oh, I remember that. I remember picking the colors for that. And just going, oh, that's one of my favorite. And then I'll hit another one and go, oh, that's one of my favorite. And it's just been, you know, that's what's been so fun about having to do something that's so repetitive, is all the blocks are different and they're fun to look at again. So there you go, not too hard. Just adding the 4 borders on, ironing towards all the borders. And next week's pretty much going to be the same, except these borders are going to be much thinner. That'll be interesting because this one's pretty thin right here on the right hand side. But there you go. Let me know where you're at. How's it going for you? It looks like I have just enough to finish all my large block borders or sashings, whatever you want to call them. And I know that there's a border on the quilt when we put it together, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I might not do a border, but if I do a border, I might do it a scrappy border out of these fabrics. Not these particular, but out of all my Halloween fabrics. And kind of frame it in, because all of these blocks are going to have, you know, this cream around it. So I'll have to think about it, and I'll let you know when it's time to do that. So I had so much fun doing this this week, and I had a lot of fun filming this video, and I really appreciate you watching it. Don't forget that this is a pattern that's still available. It's I have the links to the book. I have the links to the fabric down below. You can use your own fabrics. You don't even have to use Halloween fabrics. So check out those links. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.